What's up, guys? It is Carly here, bringing you another video and another addition to the weekly dose of horror. And sorry if you can hear the rain in the background, it's kind of pouring out, but figured I'd start putting the camera more towards the window just for better lighting purposes, because it's not too great in here with the lighting. But yeah, so we are back, and today we're going to be talking about the Amityville horror from the year 1979. Yeah, this is obviously the Scream Factory Blu-ray here. I do have the box set. JP actually got me this for my birthday, I believe, 2 years ago or something like that, maybe last year. I always lose track, but this was next technically on the DVD section, but I have it in a double pack with the remake, and I thought it would be kind of dumb to watch it on that format when I have it on Blu-ray. And when I get to this, box set eventually, 20 years down the line, if I ever get through this entire series, I'm not gonna rewatch this movie, so figured I would just watch it on the best format now. So to get into the plot here, I'm sure most people know already, but this movie follows George and Kathy Lutz, as well as their 3 children. They have just gotten married, and they're looking for a new house, and they end up buying this house in Amityville, and it is home where a few years prior, a horrible murder took place where the oldest son in the family went around and killed the entire family, which, of course that's based on true events there. And so they're a little leery at first, but they decide to go and buy the house because they figure, it's just a house, it shouldn't have any memories or anything like that. So they buy this house, their family moves in, everything's great at first, and then as the days go on, weird events start to take place, just creepy events going on in the house, people coming to the house and being too freaked out to go inside or to stay, and of course the father in the movie is starting to just act not himself. He seems very sickly throughout the film, and he just starts to kind of react a little bit more violent and aggressive than he typically would. So that's a story there. I'm sure, like I said, everyone knows what goes on in Amityville. It's a pretty popular classic film, and it's one that I've always enjoyed. It's one that I don't rewatch as much nowadays. It's one that I did watch quite a bit growing up, but even back then I didn't watch it a ton like I would other movies, because it is a longer movie. And one thing about this film is every time I rewatch it, I realize that I do really love it, and it probably would be like in my top 20 or something like that, but I always find that the first half is a lot more interesting to me personally than the second half. Like I said, it's a long film. It runs pretty much 2 hours, 119 minutes, so just like short of 2 hours there, and I always just kind of felt like there could have been some things maybe taken out or just shortened within the film. Like, I've never really found the parts with the priest to be that overly interesting. I understand why it's in there to show how he's being affected by the house and things like that, but I always just find that I'm a little taken out of the film by that. And there are also some aspects to this movie that are a bit dated, like the famous part where the mom looks out the window and sees those glowing eyes. It looks kind of silly now, where when I was a kid it really freaked me out, but now it's it's kind of funny. It just looks like cat eyes, like the way they reflect in the night. And there's also a scene at the end involving the window where it just kind of looks a little bit silly what the father sees in the window. But other than that, guys, those are really my only negatives with the film, is that I feel like it could have been maybe a little bit condensed, and it does kind of drag a little bit for me in the second half. I feel like a lot kind of goes on in that first half that's really interesting and entertaining and overall creepy, and then the second half, when they're kind of building on the atmosphere and George kind of slowly slipping into more insanity, I kind of get just a little bit bored by that. But like I said, other than that, those are really my only complaints. I think it's a very good film. It's very atmospheric. It still definitely holds up today, besides with the, small things with effects, and if you want to call those effects, really just the scary parts where you do kind of see like ghosts and whatever, the demon, whatever it's haunting the house. That does just doesn't hold up as well, but I think it still does a good job with the atmosphere. The score is fantastic, really haunting and creepy, and goes well with it. The house has always just creeped me out in general. There's a lot of good shots of just the house outside, and like the color scheme is really creepy and eerie, and you know, the main characters are very likable characters, and this film is definitely a lot more subtle with what's going on as well, where once I get into the remake, they kind of hype that up a little bit more, especially with the father character, or the husband if you want to say. I think that they definitely hype that up a little bit more in the remake. And is it a good thing or bad thing? I haven't actually watched the remake in quite a while now, so I remember liking that one as well, but not thinking it's as good as the original, so we'll have to just see once I get to that, and it would be interesting to compare them. But definitely a good movie, great characters, like I said, family's really likable, everyone in the movie pretty much is, and a lot of stuff does still hold up with just the atmosphere and the whole, you know, Get Out part. I think that has always scared me to death, so fantastic film, one of my favorites. I give this an 8.5 out of 10, so there is that. Thank you guys once again for joining me for the weekly dose of horror, and as always, I will hopefully see you next weekend.